Let's start with discussing the affairs of Tanchun's household. At the beginning of chapter 55, it mentioned that the Lantern Festival had already passed. It said, having just dealt with the busy New Year affairs, Feng Jia fell ill shortly after. She couldn't handle any household matters for a month, and had 2 or 3 imperial physicians visiting her every day. The doctors used in the Jia family were all imperial physicians, who were the doctors in the imperial court. Feng Jia thought she was strong enough, and could manage affairs without having to leave her room, continue to plan and calculate. Whenever she thought of something, she would send Ping Er to report to Lady Wang. But that did not work well, and she simply wouldn't listen to advice. Lady Wang felt as if she had lost her right arm. A person can only have so much strength. That's why Li Wan was invited out. All the trivial matters at home were temporarily handed over to Li Wan to manage. Li Wan is someone who values virtue over talent, but is a bit indulgent towards the servants. Lady Wang ordered Tanchun to assist Li Wan in managing these matters, which means that Tanchun was also invited out. As for Feng Jia, it is said that she had insufficient innate vitality and blood. Although she was intelligent, her health had not been good since childhood. Not knowing how to take care of herself when young, always striving and competing intellectually, her mental energy was further depleted. Despite being in the early stages of pregnancy, she was actually quite weak. After a month, she developed a condition called Xia Heng. Although she refused to admit it, everyone could see her pale and emaciated appearance, indicating her lack of proper care. She grew anxious herself, fearing that it might develop into a serious condition and become a laughingstock. So she thought about finding some time to recuperate. She continued taking medicine, and took time off to rest. I was just talking about how there's a new leadership team in place, and Lady Wang brought Bao Chai here. Let's check out the next part. She brought Bao Chai here to tell her to be careful everywhere. She was like, the old ladies are no good, they're always drinking, playing cards, napping during the day, and playing cards at night. I know all about it. With Shifeng out and about, they're still a bit scared. Now they're going to start causing trouble again. You're a good kid, you're smart, she said to Bao Chai, your siblings are still young, and I don't have the time. You're gonna have to work hard for me for 2 years, take care of things, and let me know if anything unexpected comes up. Don't wait for the old lady to ask, and I have nothing to say. If there are people who are not good, just tell me. If they don't listen to you, report back to me. I don't want any big trouble to happen. Bao Chai had to agree when she heard this, even though she wasn't too keen on it. So, the new leadership team is in charge now, and there's a big thing coming up called reform. Those who aren't involved in this reform should just stay out of it. Who are the 2 people not involved? One is Shang Yun, and the other is Dayu. So, how do we keep them from showing up? Make them sick. So, Dayu had a cough again, and Shang Yun was stuck in bed at the Hengwu garden due to seasonal illness, and getting non-stop medication. That's it, right? The 2 of them don't need to show up. The author arranged for them to be sick. When Tanchun stepped up, she really became the main character. I mean, she's the one at the core of the leadership team formed by the 3 of them, right? And as soon as they took charge, they had to deal with a situation. Tanchun's uncle, Zhao Guoji, passed away. Now, according to the Jia family's customs, if someone with a family connection or close ties to the household dies, even the servants, the Jia family has to cough up some cash, as a kind of condolence. So, the daughter-in-law of the Wu Xinding family came to report this. Now, this daughter-in-law works under Shifeng. If Shifeng was in charge, the Wu Xinding family would have brought out all their old family traditions and figured out how they used to handle these things, right? Then they would have let Shifeng make the call on what to do. But now, this daughter-in-law saw that Tanchun was just a young girl, so she decided to give her a hard time. After reporting the matter, she just stood there silently on the side. Tanchun had never encountered such a situation before and didn't know how much silver she should offer as condolence. When Tanchun saw that Wu Xinding's family remained silent, she immediately understood that they were trying to make things difficult for her. So, if we look a few paragraphs ahead, it says that Wu Xinding's daughter-in-law finished speaking and then stood silently by, not saying another word. At that time, there were many conversations going on, all inquiring about how they would handle things. It refers to how Liwan and Tanchun would handle things. If they handled it properly, everyone would develop a sense of respect. But if there were any shortcomings or mistakes, not only would they not be feared or respected, but people would also come up with many words to mock and ridicule them. The daughter-in-law of the Wu Xinding family had already made up her mind. If it was Sister Feng, she would have eagerly offered up a bunch of ideas and dug up all sorts of old examples for Sister Feng to pick and choose from. But now, she was looking down on Liwan's honesty and thinking of Tanchun as just a young girl. So, she only said that one sentence to see what ideas they would come up with. Tanchun asked Liwan, and Liwan said, "The other day Shiren's mother passed away, and I heard she was given a gift of 40 taels of silver, so we should also give her 40 taels." What did Liwan actually elevate by saying this? The status of Zhao Yiniang, Shiren's boss. Shiren should be treated the same way, right? Shiren's mother passed away, and the Rong mansion consoled her with 40 taels of silver, so now we should also give 40 taels. Zhao Yiniang is Tanchun's mother, and Zhao Guoji is like Tanchun's uncle, so Liwan naturally had to consider this, right? So, speaking in a higher tone, 40 taels. Tanchun is not simple. When the Wu Xinding family heard this, they quickly agreed to leave. Tanchun said, "You come back." Tanchun then said, "Don't rush to give the silver, let me ask you, in the past, the several old ladies, concubines, in the Rong house, some were living inside the palace, and some were outside, these two are different. Zhao Guoji is outside, right? How much is gifted for someone inside the palace who dies? How much is gifted for someone outside? Tell me about these two." When asked, the Wu Xinding family said they had forgotten, and then said it wasn't a big deal, who would dare to argue about how much to reward. Tanchun retorted, "That's nonsense. In my opinion, 100 would be better." Tanchun exposed the Wu Xinding family's incompetence. "You are getting careless and can't remember, but you come to make things difficult for us. Do you always check with your own mistress before you act? If what you say is right, then Auntie Feng is not being strict, she is being lenient, and you should hurry and find the books for me to see." The Wu Xinding daughter-in-law blushed and quickly went out, and all the maids stuck out their tongues, feeling that Tanchun was not simple. All right, the accounts were checked, some were rewarded with 20 taels, some with 40 taels, each with its own reasons, and there were also rewards of 100 taels and 60 taels. After reviewing the situation, Tanchun felt that according to the old rules, 20 taels should be rewarded. The news quickly spread, and they were discussing matters in the council chamber. After the new leadership team was established, they had a special place called the council chamber. The council chamber had just made a decision, and the news spread like wildfire. Later, I thought that this is probably how politics in China has always been, just like in Beijing, right? I went to Beijing and got into a taxi. As soon as I got in, the driver started telling me about what the Politburo had discussed the day before. I asked him how he knew, and he said that all Beijingers know what's happening in Zongnanhai. The news spread quickly, and Zhao Yiniang came in. She is Tanchun's biological mother. Everyone quickly made way for her, and as soon as she sat down she spoke. She said, "It's one thing for everyone in this house to trample on me, but young lady, you should also consider standing up for me." Tanchun replied, "Yiniang, I don't understand what you mean. If you have any grievances, I will stand up for you. Who has trampled on you?" Zhao Yiniang said, "It's you who's trampling on me now, who else?" Tanchun said, "I dare not, right?" Then Zhao Yiniang began to say a lot of things. "I've toiled like a slave in this house for so many years, and I've given birth to 2 children, you and your brother. One is you, Tanchun, and the other is Jia Huan. In this lifetime, I'm not even as good as Shiren. When Shiren's mother died, she was rewarded with 40 taels. What face do I have left? Even you have no face, let alone me." Tanchun finally got it. She was like, "I ain't about to break the law or go against what's right." Then she whipped out the account book and told Zhao Yiniang, "These are the old rules from way back when, everyone's sticking to them, so why should I be the only one to change them? It's not just about Shiren, but in the future, if Huan marries someone from outside, she'll be treated the same as Shiren. This ain't no small matter, it's not just about saving face." Tanchun went on, but she was really hurting inside. So Zhao Yiniang was just a concubine, right? So she was less equal. Tanchun knew her own status, so she said, "If I were a guy, I could just leave and make something of myself. Then I'd make my own rules. But as a girl, I can't say much. Madam knows this well. She values me, that's why she asked me to take care of the household chores. I haven't done anything good, yet Yiniang is the first to trample on me." In old-school Chinese families, concubines' kids don't call their real moms mom, they still call their dad's legal wife mom. So she still called her mom Yiniang, or auntie, following the traditional family rules. She said, "If Madam knew and relieved me of my duties, then I would truly lose face. Even Yiniang would lose face." And as she said this, tears started rolling down her cheeks.